up, people? What's up? Ricky, what's going on? Texas T, I see you. Brandy said, let's get into it. Brandy, you're right. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys are obviously up with me, and hopefully that this won't take too long, but I'm going to actually slow walk this. So if you have to catch the replay, catch the replay. Do me a favor, go ahead and smash that like button. So just to jump right into it, there have been several content creators that I feel that have taken a stab at this particular type of conversation. We have one content creator. Salute to Ricky Manor. I seen him. He did a great job breaking down details in reference to BLM and the LGBT plus Q community or whatever. And I wanted to kind of spin off of that, but I also wanted to just dive more on the LGBT plus community, right? So this is what happened. What happened was I was sitting down with my daughter. She's 4 years old. I have four daughters. I was sitting down with one of the youngest, and we were watching the Disney Channel. And I noticed that on the programs that she was watching, they promoted several like innuendos, and it really didn't phase me because I'm kind of like, hey, you know, been in the military and I've seen a whole lot of things, so I'm really not concerned about that, worried about that. But then my daughter looked up at me, and she said there was a scene where there were two girls kissing. And she looked up at me and she said, Dad, why are those two girls kissing? Now, anybody that knows me know that I'm not a loss for words. I'm very straightforward. I'm very blunt. I can conversate about anything. But when she asked me in that moment, I became ignorant. Like I almost feared what to tell her. And this is the problem that I think that we have, especially as heterosexual men. This don't really have anything to do with a race thing. But as heterosexual men, I don't think that we are educated enough to have the conversation with our children. And when we are not educated enough to have the conversation, I think that forces them as children to go out and seek that education. I think it forces them to run out and say, and it's just like with anything. It's just like with gangs. If you don't know anything about gangs, it's just like with drugs. If you don't know anything about drugs, if you don't know anything about drinking. So the fact of the matter is, if you don't, as a parent, have the knowledge to tell your children, they go seek that knowledge elsewhere. So that's what this conversation is about. This is about providing a middle ground for parents, heterosexual parents, for gay parents. This is about providing a middle ground where we can actually have a conversation, where we can get everybody involved. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't know what to tell my daughter. You know, I didn't want to tell her anything that would make gay people look bad, and I didn't want to tell her anything to encourage her to be gay. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if you put yourself in my position, it's like what I don't want to do is greetings. What I don't want to do is hurry up and push her in a direction. I want her to be a kid. I want her to grow up. I want her to enjoy her life as a child. And I called a friend of mine. My friend, he's actually gay, and I talked to him. I said, "Well, what should I tell my daughter? What should I tell my daughter?" And I asked him. Maybe I asked him the most faux-pas question, but we've definitely been friends for a while. And I said, "Hey, how do I explain to my child why two girls are kissing?" And he said, "Brother." He said, "Brother," he said, "how would you explain a man and a woman kissing?" Well, two people that's affectionate, two people that like each other. There you go. He said, it's not rocket science. And I said, okay. But see, I think that you have to have a certain thought process and a certain level of understanding. And I think that we fail to have that understanding, because when you're a heterosexual man, like, you're taught to think a certain type of way. You're taught to view things a certain type of way. Like, your voice better be deep. And if your voice ain't deep, that some type of way in our mind and how we were raised as young boys, then that means you're a weak man, when really that's really far from the truth. And I think that we need to, especially as men and women, heterosexual men and women, gay men and women, I think that we need to have a conversation where we can actually start educating ourselves on why do we have these disagreements? Why is there such a sharp divide when it comes to life, when it comes to raising children, when it comes to a level of understanding? So salute to everybody in the building. So I found some videos actually that I wanted to play, because I believe they made some good talking points, and I wanted to play these videos because I do believe that it does allow us to have a better understanding of other communities. So if you give me 1 second. Let's see which one this is here. I don't know if that's the one I want to play first or not. Let's see.
Are demons behind gay agenda? By gay agenda, I mean 5 steps. Step 1, come out of the closet. Step 2, demand rights. Step 3 is demand that everybody recognizes your rights. Step 4 is to take other people's rights. And step 5 is to put everybody else in the closet through cancel culture and labeling everybody as hate speech who disagree with you. Now, we've seen a rise of males participating in female sports, drag shows for children, and huge support for the homosexual community, and big silencing or canceling of anybody who does not support them. And videos like me get labeled as homophobic, transphobic, and so forth and so on. And I believe behind that is a demonic spirits and principalities pushing perversion on our culture.
More than 500 bills restricting the rights.
So this is the issue that I have. The issue that I have is that with any organization, they're going to push their agenda. Whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's the gay community, whether it's your bowling league, they're going to push the agenda that benefits them. Now, here's the issue. The issue is that when you use words that hurt and expect the people inside the organization not to be hurt by those words, I think that's absurd. When you call people demons and you do all of that other stuff or whatever, that's not gonna make people want to sit down at the table and explain to you what is going on, how they feel, what their purpose and agenda is actually is. And I think that what it does is, especially for people like myself, it keeps you ignorant. It keeps you lacking understanding when you have people that say, okay, I'm going to use my platform, and instead of saying, I feel like this, what we do is we demonize people and we make them feel ashamed of their sexuality and the things that they feel that's important to them. If someone told you, well, hey, all black men or all black women or all white men and all white women, when you say, well, all is included. When you say, well, these demons right here, that's they're sinning, they're going against God. Here's my thing, and this is just me personally, right? Whatever you do behind closed doors is your business. Okay, whatever, whoever you want to be with, if you're bisexual, trisexual, whatever you want to do is your agenda. What is your business? But my issue is, or my concern is, I'm gonna get to that comment real quick. Yeah, definitely. My concern is that, well, let me bring this to you. My friend basically explained to me the reason what happened to him as a little boy is the fact that one of his uncles took advantage of him, and it altered him. And this was a conversation that we had a couple years back or whatever. So my idea when you talk about some gay people is that a lot of people were altered. Something has happened to them to make them gay, to make them say, okay, hey, this is how I am because of what has happened. And my concern is immediately my role as a father kicks in. I become territorial because now I don't want my child to go through what my friend went through based on how he explained it. So, and this is the level of ignorance, because here's the thing: everybody that's gay hasn't been touched as a child. Shocking, right? So here's the thing: when you don't have people educating you on, hey, this is why I am the way I am, this is why I choose this sexuality, then what you do is you start to educate your children backwards. You start to educate them to hate other people or to lack understanding. That's the same thing between black and white people. I don't have an understanding for your culture, so I'm going to demonize it. I'm going to hate it. I'm going to give it the middle finger. I'm going to say a bunch of stuff. And then we do these things around our kids, and then our kids grab a hold of it, and then they take it to the next level. That's what happens. And what I don't want to do as a father is I don't want to demonize another race, another culture, someone's sexuality because I don't know or because I fear and lack understanding. Let's get to some of these comments. Brian says, it's not fair to push these narratives on our babies. Children are very impressionable at that age. They should not be influenced before they can make rational decisions. Let them be innocent. Now, this is the thing. I totally agree. And that's why I'm so curious on why it is necessary to have the innuendos of gay interaction inside like Disney channels and stuff like that. Like I don't know why that is necessary. Now I do know that there are a lot of gay CEOs and there are a lot of people that in higher positions and high places where they say, hey, look, you know, I represent the LGBT plus community and I want to put that in there. I think that's okay. And the thing about it is you got to understand that people are very protective. Parents are very protective, and what they want to do is everybody wants their children to be like them. And especially if you haven't learned or are comfortable with the conversation about gayness or sexuality, you don't impose that on your children. You don't sit down and say, hey, let me have this conversation with you, because you're lost for words. So this is why I wanted to have this particular live, because I know a lot of people say, oh, hey, don't do that. You don't want to get canceled. But Ann says education is key. I think it is getting to be too much, going too far, questioning intersex sexuality. What is it? What people are going to be confused, especially children. Hoping on. Definitely. Car, what's going on? Listen, here's the thing. People that don't understand the gay community is going to give the gay community pushback. People within the gay community that don't want to explain the gay community is going to give heterosexual community pushback. And that's the problem. We lack understanding. We lack the patience for one another. We lack the ability to come to a forum and have a conversation and say, hey, can you help me understand? And then a lot of people will tell you, hey, I don't want to understand. But the issue is that then you fall into a position where now your child is gay. Now you have a hard time accepting your child because you never took the time to really find out, hey, X, Y, and Z. You know what I noticed? I noticed that there are a lot of heterosexual parents that push their children away. They push their children in a direction that they didn't really want their children to go, but because they lack the ability to have a conversation, they lack the understanding and the know-how and the willingness to say, well, let's talk about it. You ever had those parents that's like, oh, I'm not talking about it. It's over. This is a done conversation. And what happens is your child goes out and seeks that conversation elsewhere, and they find someone willing to educate them. So when you get that knock at the door and you say, hey, mom, guess who's here? You know, if it's a son, hey, meet Brad. You know, if it's a daughter, hey, meet Kim. And she's bringing or he's bringing someone of the same gender, and you now have a situation. Somebody said, what are we talking about? We are talking about middle ground. We're talking about being able to have conversations between heterosexual people and gay people where we now can have a level of understanding. So that way, if our children ask us questions, we can answer it without being ignorant, and we don't answer it out of fear. We don't answer it out of media and what media tells us. A lot of people say there is a gay agenda. There's a gay agenda in our music. There's a gay agenda in our videos and movies. There's a gay agenda, you know what I'm saying, just in everyday marketing and everyday life. And a lot of people would believe that. A lot of people are afraid that their child is going to be altered or turned into a direction that they're not comfortable with. So that's why I wanted to propose this conversation, so that way we can get into a narrative of, let's have an understanding. Let's say me as a heterosexual man, I say, hey, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it, great. Just don't do it in front of my kid. Just don't put it on my kid. You can put it on me as an adult if you want. Like, okay, hey, okay, cool. But allow my child to be a child. And I think that anybody can understand like how innocent children are, how we need to protect children. And then this is my only issue though. This is one of my issues. Texas T says no one should be downing 2 or 3 consenting adults do closed doors. I totally agree. Whatever you do behind closed doors, do it. Great. I think the issue is when we have children being coerced into things, being coerced into something that they're not ready for. If you think about life, right? You think about life. They say if you're under 15, you're not supposed to be driving a car, right? You're not supposed to buy alcohol. You're not supposed to be able to buy a firearm, right? You're not supposed to be able to do all of these things. But we have some children that are under the age of 15 deciding if they want to be boys or girls or not, deciding what their sexuality is going to be, and it's based on the society in which they embrace, the things that they go and they're encouraged by. And sadly enough, a lot of parents don't pay attention enough to their children to find out what they're actually into before it's too late. I had a friend of mine who had a daughter. Or has a daughter, and she didn't find out that her daughter was bisexual until almost her senior year in high school. So when the conversation had is like, well, when did you become bisexual? Oh, that happened in middle school. Wait a minute, hold on, what? You're a senior in high school. It happened in middle school. My first question was, where was the parents at? Where was the parents at? And then what was so funny is, and I kind of sat back in the seat as I was listening, because the daughter was explaining to the mom, well, when I came to you to have the conversation, you shut me down. You shut me down. You told me to get out your face. You didn't want to hear it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then what happened was the daughter went and found someone willing to have the conversation. And it's crazy because it's like deja vu. When my 4-year-old asked me, why are these 2 girls kissing? I was like, Now a lot of people would say, there's a lot of highs, like a lot of the gay people that I've been around, it's like you're super high and happy. But when you get low, it's like you're super low. So a lot of them kind of stay in that party mode or whatever. And I was talking to my friend about that. And I was like, well, why does it seem like gay people are always happy? Like, why is it always? And I'm gonna be honest with you. As a child growing up, as an adolescent, looking at a situation, you would say, man, that's where the party at. That looks great. That looks fun. But it's like, I said, why does it always seem like that? And he was like, well, what you don't understand is a lot of gay people have been through so much trauma is that they're trying to outrun their trauma. They're trying to outrun their trauma. And I never really thought about it like that, to be honest with you. Just as a heterosexual man, I never thought that somebody would, okay, oh, okay. I mean, I guess heterosexual, hey, we go to strip club. Hey, we're trying to party, our life away and do all of this great stuff but I never really thought that's the way they're dealing with trauma, which is why people are celebrating so hard about life and about overcoming whatever situation. But I think we get to a point, to be honest with you, where we just want our children to be safe. And it's unfortunate how, and I think that gay people get a bad rep, to be honest with y'all. I think they get a bad rep. I think because it's like when you don't understand why a person's sexuality is the way it is, you start to condemn it. And I think that's happened so much over the years, is that you can't help but want to fight back. You know what I'm saying? You can't help but want to say, well, now I'm not going to let you say nothing about us. It don't matter what color we are. It don't matter what we do. It don't matter if we're transgender. It don't matter if we try. It don't matter. Now you can't say nothing. And I think that's where that cancel culture comes. Like, I don't agree with bashing people at all, regardless of their sexuality. And I think that we've gotten so comfortable at saying, if we don't agree with you, we'll bash you into submission. We'll make you submit. Whether that's men, whether that's women, whether that's communities. And I think that the fact of the matter is, I believe that the gay community would say, well, this is how we fight back. We'll cancel you. If you say something, we'll cancel you. And I think, I'm going to be honest with you, I think that's wrong. That's wrong as well. The reason why I feel like that is wrong, because if we don't ever have a conversation, then we can't protect our children the way we want to, because we are not with our children 24 hours a day. But here's the thing. If you as a heterosexual parent have gay friends and you let your gay friends know, like, how do I talk to my child so that way I don't scare them away? That way I'm not saying you embrace the conversation with, oh, well, let's talk about your sexuality. I'm saying that, how do you tell your child you want them to grow up and make the decision when they get older about their sexuality without sounding offensive? This is a real question. This is a real question. And I know there's not a lot of men that would sit here and actually have this conversation and push this dialogue. But the thing about it is, how do you do that? How do you talk to your children about the gay community, about what they're seeing in these videos and media without sounding offensive? Because the conversation needs to be had. The education needs to be provided. And I think that as long as you have people that are willing to not talk, the hate is going to be there. The lack of understanding is going to be there. The need to say, well, we're better than you, or you're better than them. And it's always going to be a divide. Just like we have the division between men and women, it's going to be division between the gay community and heterosexual community, because people are not willing to talk. They lack understanding. Let's get to some more of this. Let's see.
LGBTQ plus people have been introduced across the country this year. 77 of those bills have been passed, impacting education and healthcare. Anne Marie breaks this all down for us.
Yeah, in fact, Vlad, this is sort of a bit of a snapshot of all the states that have passed anti-LGBTQ laws. But we're going to highlight a few of them that have really made kind of national headlines. And I'll start things off in Tennessee. So Tennessee has so far passed 5 anti-LGBTQ laws this year, including the first in the nation attempt to ban drag performances. Now, the law received, in public that is, the law received some criticism for its vagueness. It was ultimately ruled unconstitutional by a federal judge. Now we're going to take you up north to North Dakota right here. North Dakota has passed 10 anti-LGBTQ laws, one of the highest amounts in the nation. They passed restrictions on healthcare and identification, but one aspect that has drawn attention involves public libraries. North Dakota's legislature has prohibited
Salute to
public
everybody in chat.
libraries from maintaining sexually explicit material. This takes the book ban initiatives targeting queer and racial content and codifies it. And then down to Florida now. Of course, Ron DeSantis making a lot of headlines because of his anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, but the state passed a law banning gender-affirming care for minors. And here's what it includes. It discourages acts of social transitioning, like using different pronouns, but it also makes seeking gender-affirming care a condition for Child Protective Services to take a minor away from their parents. It's currently making its way through legal challenges, Wad.
For more on this,
There are so many things challenging our children, you know, and when you talk about, you know, the gay community, you certain things stick out. Like, you know, you say, you know, it's liberation, it's over sexualized, it's you know, it's bold, it's bright, it's loud, it's, you know, and you have all of these trigger words, and it's, you know, but for people that are heterosexuals, it's scary. It's a lot. So you there has to be a bridge where you can say, okay, well, this is me, this is who I am, but I also respect the fact that you don't want your children to be exposed to this situation. When a lot of people will say, well, hey, what's wrong with exposing your children to being gay when you have all of this rap demeaning women? Uh-oh. Because I'll see people, I'll see channels saying rap is bad, but they won't say anything about gay people. Black men are bad, but they won't say anything about gay people. Black females are bad, but they won't say anything about gay people. And the thing about it is, it's like, you know, it's amazing what we'll stay away from. When the conversation needs to be had is, why don't we promote an understanding for what the gay community is for? Like, where do you go to get educated on? Do you guys think that a child just 4 years old should be exposed to the gay community? I've never seen nobody ask that question. To be honest with you, I've never take a regular child, 4-year-old child. Do you think that child should be exposed to the gay community? Okay, now another question is, what is the gay community? What is the gay community? If you got 3 people in a bar, does that make that a gay bar? You see how we think in a level of ignorance because we don't know? And that's why I kind of challenge any gay content creators out there to educate. Not point the finger, not throw slugs, but to educate and put that out there and package it and say, hey, let me just break this thing down. No, gay people don't think that young children should be exposed to gay paraphernalia or transgenders or drag queens, or you understand what I'm saying? Because it creates a lot of questions. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't go to no drag shows. Like I ain't never been to no drag that I know of, you know, unless I was drunk. But I never been to no drag shows. But I've had friends go to drag. They were female friends, but they went to drag shows and said they had a ball. But my question to you is, what's too much to expose our children to? Let's get to some of these comments. Lawrence says, I happen to be gay myself. Oh, I didn't know that. That's great that you're here. But have been single and celebrant now since 2007. Okay, well, maybe you can help me with some of this commentary, because I'm definitely going to go back and read the comments thoroughly in the morning. But Brian says, I do not think that a child should be exposed to homosexuality before they can make a legitimate decision on their own and as to how they want to live. And that's what Lawrence, let me ask you a question. I think children's innocence should be protected both by parents made sure that they're raising me. I've heard so much the most ignorant things when it comes to placing blame on gay people, like ever. Jesus Christ. I've heard some ignorant stuff. But again, it goes back to me saying that because people don't know better, because we've allowed media to dictate to us what a gay man is, what a gay woman is, and what their thought process is in regards to harming our children. This is what media is pushing out, that gay people want to harm our children. And to me, I think that's far from the truth. That's far from the truth. I think the issue is that when you don't have people willing to say, I'm gay and this is how I feel about these topics, I think that's the problem. I think that there are not enough heterosexual and gay conversations coming together actually saying this is how we feel. So I'm glad that we have representatives from both communities inside the chat right now so that way we can have these conversations. Salute, salute, salute. Let me get to this next one real quick.
One issue, same-sex marriage. You have equal protection. It's working its way through the courts. The decisions are getting more and more uniform. But then you have people of faith who say marriage is ours. God says it is a man and a woman. The Bible says, my faith says. Which one wins with Dr. Carson?
Here's what I would do. I would do what the Constitution says. Constitution says civil issues of that nature should be determined at the state level. Why does it say that? Because the judicial system at the state level has to answer to the people.
What if people of a state vote for a law 100-0 that winds up
I hear you, Brian. I hear you.
the rights of a minority, like happened very often with slavery, like many would argue is happening now with people who are gay.
And our Constitution was followed, and we corrected those things.
And isn't that what's happening right now with same-sex marriage? It's being corrected as a form of violation of equal protection.
No, you can't just say because it happened that way this time, this is the same situation. It's not the same situation.
Why not?
Because people have no control over their race, for instance.
You think they have control over their sexuality?
Absolutely.
You think being gay is a choice?
Absolutely.
Let me ask you guys, is being gay a choice? Can somebody answer, anybody, is being gay a choice? Does anybody believe that being gay is a choice? There's a lot of people saying no. Being gay is not a choice. Brian says, I believe that we choose how we want to live our lives, especially when you have options. Lawrence says, I do not think so. Do I believe that being gay is a choice? I'm gonna be honest with you. The majority of gay men that I know almost all have the same backstory. The soldiers that I knew in the military that were gay almost all have the same backstory, that they were violated at some point in time. They almost all have the same backstory. Now I know that can I be honest with you guys? When a woman tells me that she's never kissed another woman, right? She's never done anything with another woman, they still make you? They still, because Sexy Red and Pound Town would have you believe, the Meg Thee Stallions and Cardi B's and Nicki Minaj's and all of the media that's surrounding that would have you thinking that every woman has had a sexual experience with another woman. Again, that's ignorance. That's ignorance. But if you allow media to educate you versus the subject matter experts, every woman does not have a sexual experience with another woman. But again, that's ignorance thinking, oh, well, hey, you must like women, right? Lawrence says, yes, most have, have been violated. However, I never was. I did not even know sex existed until I was 12. Both my parents were Catholic. I must say I myself had a wonderful childhood. And see, this is why we're having this conversation. This is why we're having this conversation. Lawrence says, hey, I was never violated. I had a great childhood. Both my parents were Catholic. So going into the idea of where everybody in the gay community must have been violated, must have been touched, or must have been taken advantage of. Again, that's a level of ignorance, because we don't have these conversations. We shy away from it, because a lot of times when heterosexual men have conversations about the gay community, they seem homophobic. It's like, or scared to tackle the topics. Well, over here, we're not scared to tackle any topics. We can talk about whatever. And I just honestly feel that if we smarten up on our communication skills, on what it is that we want to relay. Well, me as a Black African-American man, as a heterosexual man, I want to relay that I want my child to grow up and make the choice when they're old enough to make the choice about their sexuality. I want my child to understand the significance of being a child and not being coerced into situations that will force them to grow up faster. And it's not just with the gay community. It's with gangs. It's with drinking. It's with drugs. I want to expose you when you're ready and in a position to make a sound decision. But me as a parent, I want to protect you as much as I can. Let me ask you another question. Well, hold on. I want you to hear this next part. Listen to this next part.
Why do you say that?
Because a lot of people who go into prison straight, and when they come out, they're gay. So did something happen while they were in there? Ask yourself that question.
Never go to prison, and there's a whole theory of dominance.
Wait a minute. I said a lot of people who go in, come out. Are you denying that that's true?
I am not denying that that's true, but I am denying that that's as a basis of understanding homosexuality.
If in fact that is the case, then it obviously thwarts what you just said.
A lot of people go into jail as a drug addict and they come out as a criminal. But does that mean that all drug addicts are criminals?
Here's what's important. Why do gay people want to get married? Because they want to have various rights.
No, they want
property rights.
That's right.
Visitation rights.
Let me ask you a question. Why do people not support gay marriage? If two people decide that they love each other enough, they want to spend the rest of their lives together, whatever, why would that be an issue with you? That, to me, that makes no sense. Like, I think we get too far in the weeds. We get too far into the politics of it, or whatever the case may be. If you're two men and you want to get married, hey, all right, do you. You two women, all right, do you. If y'all want to, all y'all get married together, okay, do you. I'm saying that in my home, I'm promoting a man and a woman being together. However, if my child grows up, they leave my home, right? And they grow up and they decide that traditionally what I was raised up to believe or think or was made aware of doesn't work for them, and they decide to go in a different direction, will I still love my child? Yes. But will I be prouder of myself because I didn't expose my children at an early age? Yes. Because I feel like they wasn't influenced. And the thing about it is, I also feel like there's no way around the gay conversation with your child. I believe there is no way around the gay conversation with your child. Hey Nick, I see what you're saying, but YouTube has blocked that comment. Okay, all right. But I don't think there's no way around the gay conversation with your children. I don't think there's no way around it. I think you either have the conversation or you decide to not have the conversation, and then they go have the conversation elsewhere. I truly believe that you as a parent should expose your children to certain conversations when you feel like they're ready and they're mature enough to handle those conversations. Because at some point in time, you have to have the conversation about the birds and the bees. So what happens if it's all birds and all bees, or if the bees want to mix with the birds? Like, you have to have that conversation. So let me ask you a question. If you believe that your child is gay, do you have the conversation with your child? And it says, in this day, the conversation should definitely be had. If you don't, outside influence. Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. People are saying yes. People are saying yes. If you believe that your child is gay, should you have the conversation? I totally believe that. Here is the issue. The issue is a lot of people don't know where to start. Right? A lot of people don't know where to start. A lot of people don't have points of reference, and don't feel comfortable having a conversation. But let's go deeper, though. Let's go deeper. Let's say you catch your child in a gay act. You catch your child kissing another boy or kissing another girl or whatever it case be. What is your response? Is it the same response as if they were kissing the opposite sex? Do you go berserk? Do you start breaking stuff in the house? Do you call them names? Do you pray them straight? Like, what would your response be? Said, that's a tough one. Hey, that's why we having this conversation. Thanks for being here early in the damn morning with me. But that's why we having this conversation, because I appreciate y'all hitting that like button. That means y'all understand how important these conversations are. Lawrence says, I'm not sure what mine would be either. What would be your response if you come into the house and you see your child engaged in a gay act sexually? What would be your response? Now, here's the thing. Who better to answer that question than somebody that is of the gay community? How would you handle that? If you walked in there as a gay man or a gay woman and your child was doing a gay action, how would you answer that? How would you respond? Because now I need perspective. I don't get a perspective by going to talk to another heterosexual parent. I probably get a better perspective talking to someone of that community. I'm about to say something that I don't hear a lot of people saying. How do you stop your child from being gay? Can you prevent it? Is there a prevention? You know how people say, oh, you take them to church and pray it away. God will pull the gay out of them. We'll beat it out of them. Is there a anti-gay conversation you can have to make your child not gay? Somebody said you can't. That's absurd. That's ludicrous. But that's why we're having this conversation. Some people feel that you can. Some people feel I can punish you and you won't be gay no more. I can take your game away. I cannot give you allowance. I cannot let you go to that party. I cannot let you hang with those people, and you won't be gay no more. Okay, Chalk Bay say, I think my mom knew, so my dad gets me in sports. LOL, but it didn't work. Put put you into sports so you wouldn't be gay. Okay, all right. Can you pray the gay away? Can you pray the gay away? Let me go back to this one right here that I didn't play earlier. I want you guys to listen to this gentleman right here. Let's see if I can get to it. I think this is about right here.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out the gay lifestyle, the gay lifestyle. And I keep hearing this word over and over and over again, lifestyle, lifestyle, lifestyle. I've even heard politicians say that the gay lifestyle is a greater threat to civilization than terrorism. That's when I got scared. Because I'm thinking, if I'm gay and I'm doing something that's going to destroy civilization, I need to figure out what this stuff is, and I need to stop doing it right now. So I took a look at my life, a hard look at my life, and I saw some things very disturbing. And I want to begin sharing these evil things that I've been doing with you, starting with my mornings. I drink coffee. Not only do I drink coffee, I know other gay people who drink.
If you guys are not catching on to what's happening right now, the gentleman is basically, he's gay, and he's basically explaining to the audience that we're the same. We just have different sexualities. I drink coffee. I get stuck in traffic with you. I stump my toe on the bed. I raise children like you. The issue is that we lack understanding for what it is that we do sexually, so that makes you uncomfortable. So I wanted to play some of this so that way you can get an understanding of what it is that he's saying. It's like, you make me different, but we're the same.
Drink coffee. I get stuck in traffic. Evil traffic. Sometimes I get stuck in lines at airports. I look around and I go, my God, look at all these gay people. We're all trapped in these lines, these long lines trying to get on an airplane. My God, this lifestyle that I'm living is so freaking evil. I clean up. This is not an actual photograph of my son's room. His is messier. And because I have a 15-year-old, all I do is cook and cook and cook. Any parents out there of teenagers? All we do is cook for these people. They eat 2, 3, 4 dinners a night. It's ridiculous. This is the gay lifestyle.
Lawrence brings up a great point. Lawrence says, I did not try to pray the gay away with myself. I tried to be in a relationship without sex. My parents told me they did not care about me being gay as long as I did not act on it sexually. Like, let me ask you, it's okay to think gay, but not act on it. Well, I would assume that those parents are heterosexual, and I would love for parents that are gay to chime into this conversation, because what's the difference? I mean honestly, what's the difference? Let me tell you something. If your daughter is sleeping with another female, what's the likelihood of her getting pregnant? If your son is sleeping with another guy, what's the likelihood? Well, y'all understand where I'm going with this, right? So I guess I don't understand how is it okay? It's okay to think about it, but as long as you don't do it. But that's coming from a heterosexual point of view. So would gay parents tell their children, it's okay to think gay, but don't act gay? Behind the bar, I'm actually going to do a whole video on that, brother. I'm actually going to do a whole video on that. Well, education would definitely, and life would definitely chime into the break. I appreciate you being here, though. Good morning. It is not my intention to offend anyone. I think we're having a great conversation. I don't see anything crazy in the chat or whatever case may be. And I think that these conversations are necessary because you have children out there and they're struggling with their sexuality, and you have heterosexual parents like me that when the question gets asked, you don't know what to say. But you don't want to say anything offensive because what's going to happen is it's going to make your child shy away from you and make them think that they're not loved in their home. And we all understand what happens when your children don't feel loved at home. They go find love. And that love, to be honest with you, sometimes it's costly. It's costly, you know, and I'm talking about life. I'm talking about, you know, it's just costly. Definitely. I believe that as well. He says, my entire family accepts me, but my dad made me promise to never wear a dress. I got you. I hear you. I said, Dad, wear a dress. No doubt. I hear you. To me, I don't have any sons. And I honestly think, and this is another question. Do you think it's easier for parents to accept their son or their daughter being gay? Is it the same thing? These are questions that I really want to be answered. Is it easier to accept a gay son or a gay daughter? I'm gonna be honest with you. If I had a son, I don't know how easy it would be for me to be like, yeah, I accept you. I'm sure I would, but I just don't know how easy it would be. And I would love for someone to say, well, why would it be harder? Why would it be easier? You know, and because we have, I believe, as men, we have so many expectations of our sons to grow up and you know, play football, play basketball, and go off and be great, you know, manly, right? And somebody would say, well, just because they're gay doesn't mean they can't do all of those things. They have gay men that play football, gay men that play basketball, gay men that swim. So that's not an excuse. Why would you, as a man, not accept them? What's going on, Kevin? Why would you, as a heterosexual male, have an issue with your gay son? And I think it's just because, like I said, I've heard so much stuff in reference to this is why a person is gay. Like, oh, it's in their DNA. Oh, something happened, you know, and it altered them, you know, as a child, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And my thing about it is, it's like, I would think, and again, this is ignorance. This is ignorance from somebody who don't understand and don't know. Did I do something to make my son gay? Did I do something to make my son feel like I would think that would be okay? Y'all understand where I'm coming from? Like, when you don't understand and you don't know, you start asking. Well, a lot of people don't even ask questions, and I think that's the issue. When you're afraid to talk to the gay, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually talking to the gay community. I'm talking to the heterosexual community, and I'm saying, everybody, come on, bring yourself in here and let's answer some of these questions. Because I'm sure if I have these questions as a 20-year Army veteran, right, over 40 years old, I'm sure someone else has these questions. So we just need to provide them answers. Texas T says, my daughter is gay and she is still the same kind, funny, loving, beautiful young lady. No doubt. Salute to her. I'd rather my daughter be gay than my son. But why is that? Why is it that we are so willing to accept our daughters being gay? Is that a societal norm? Is that when we see Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B humping on each other and we like, oh yeah. But when we see two guys humping on each other, we're like, what? Is that a societal norm? Is that something society did? Is that something friends of the family did? Is that something we seen our parents do? Why do we accept women being gay but not men? Brian says a double standard. I mean, we talk about sex all the time. If a man says, hey, I slept with 15 women yesterday. Yeah. But if a woman says she slept with 2 guys, ha! I'm just being honest. I'm being straight transparent with you guys. If I had a son, I would be, I don't know what I would say. Like, I don't know what I would say if he says, hey, Dad, I'm gay. Like, he say, hey, Dad, I'm about to pull up. Me and Marcus, right? DeMonte or whatever, right? And it's like, oh, this is my boyfriend. I don't know, y'all. I don't know what I would say. I don't know what I would say. It says, I never thought about that, but it seems like it's more acceptable for women to be gay rather than, yeah. Y'all asking me some hard questions in this chat, right? Yeah, salute to everybody. Salute to everybody. Would I be acceptable of my daughters being gay? Is that the alarm? Let me go check the alarm. I think I left something in the microwave. I'll be right back. Man, listen, I just want oh my God, man. Oh, golly. Listen. No, for real. I would be acceptable because I love my daughter. So I would be acceptable of it, to be honest with you guys. I guess it is a double standard. I guess it is a double standard, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would be way more acceptable for my daughters to to be gay versus if I had a son for him to be gay. I don't know. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? Texas T says if my son told me I'll still love him and accept him and I would still preach. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand. There are not too many people. Well, I can't even say that. That's why I said that's why you have to have that conversation with the gay community. Were you disowned when you came out? You know what I'm saying? When you told your parents or they found out, your family and friends, they found out you were gay, a gay male, did they disown you? Did they accept you? How did they accept you? Did they treat you the same? Did they treat you different? Was the conversation the same? Were they homophobic? So that's why I said these conversations, they matter, they count. So I'm hoping that everybody can understand the value of this particular type of conversation and how it's being presented, because I hope to God that no one feels like this is like a gay bashing video or a homophobic video. I think we're being very respectful in regards to saying, hey, we are not well versed with this topic. And we need to have a middle ground and a mindset where collective people could come in and say, okay, the host asked this question. Let me provide some answers, because obviously there's someone out there that may have that mindset, that may not have the understanding and ignorant to what the gay community actually stands for and why is the gay community prideful? We talk about the black community all the time and why the black community is so prideful. Why is the gay community so prideful? Brian asked a question. But somebody answer that. I'm gonna get to that, Brian. Why is the gay community so prideful? Why do you think they're so prideful? Can anybody answer that question for me? Why do you think the gay community is so prideful? Why is it that I'm gay, I'm proud, I'm happy, you know, this is who I am, accept me, love me? Why do you think that? Y'all must be just waking up. Okay? It's like, let me try to type this out. Lawrence says, why are they prideful? I am not too sure, as I am never proud or ashamed of myself. I was always different from everyone else, including the other gay people. I think it's ridiculous to think that, to make that statement. And I was waiting for someone to say, that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. Why are gay people so proud? Like, aren't you allowed to be happy? Does it matter the color, race, creed, or sexuality? You're allowed to be prideful. You're allowed to be happy about what it is that you believe that you want to do in life. You're allowed to. And I think those are the narratives, I'm telling you, those are the narratives that's being pushed. Like, the gay people are just gay pride, just so prideful. And it's like, hey, this is something that this is my lifestyle. This is what I've adopted and accepted for me. This is what I want to do. So cool. All right, great. The issue is when you lack respect for somebody else's choice. You lack respect for somebody else's choice. You lack understanding for somebody else's choice. Now, hold on. Before we get in the uproar, like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? The same way that you want people to respect you as a gay man or a gay woman or a gay community is the same way that you have to understand that you have people that don't understand it, but they still want to be respected too. And I think that's what makes us bump our heads. There's no respect. There's no respect. Like we're so afraid to talk about gay. Like, I'm not going to talk about the gay community because I don't want to get canceled. Well, just don't disrespect and have a conversation. When you can't articulate well enough to say, with all due respect, I have a lack of understanding. I really just want to know, because I want to be able to tell my children something that will make them understand that I'm going to love them regardless of their choice. But I don't want them to be forced into a choice. When you have friends around you that just happen to be gay, they understand, hey, we all on the same sheet of music, so we all understand. So let me ask you guys this. How do you not promote gayness around your children? If you have friends, how do you not promote gayness around the children that you're around? Is that fair to say, well, you can't show affection around my kid because I don't want them to be gay? Is that fair to say? Is that ignorant to say? What y'all think about it in the comments? I totally agree. You don't have to. I totally agree with that statement. Alan says respect should be shown around no matter how you identify. Great. No matter what your sexuality is, no matter who you are, no matter what your status is, respect should be shown around the children that's around. All right. It's only fair. Brian says, I think people have an absolute right as to how they want to run their own homes. If you don't like certain things to take place, it's your house. People should respect that. Definitely. And that's why I said you have to have the conversation with the people that you call friends and family, so that way they can understand your position. Whether it's heterosexual, whether it's gay, whatever it is, make sure people understand your position. But here's the thing. Don't disrespect people giving them your opinion. Don't disrespect people giving them your perspective. Don't belittle someone else because their sexuality is different. And I think what happens is you make people resent you, whether they're gay, whether they're heterosexual. You make people resent you and lash out at you, so that way you never get the common ground. Why doesn't Uncle Bill talk to Uncle Mike? Oh, he gay, man. I don't talk to him because he. Then you find out that now your son's gay. So now you now have condemned your son from telling you he gay because he's seen how you treated Uncle Mike. So you gotta be mindful that your children are a sponge and they're watching you, how you conduct yourself as a parent, how you conduct yourself as a role model and a leader and a protector and a provider, and they see how you treat not only men and women but people of different sexualities. So when you're watching things or you're indulging in conversation that's bashing another gender, another race, another ethnicity, people that promote a different sexuality, it's like this. I don't dress up in drag, but to sit here and bash people who dress up in drag in front of somebody that may grow up and say, well, that might be something I'm interested in. We just have to be mindful about the conversation that we promote with our children. Okay, gay pride commemorates the Stonewall riot. Okay, all right, didn't know that. I didn't know that. Thanks for educating me. Thank you. We have officer weirdos in the gay community, just like we have. You're definitely right. That's a great point. There are weirdos in the regular community, and there are weirdos in the gay community. You're exactly right. You know what I'm saying? The same issues that we have in a heterosexual community, you'll find in a gay community. You're exactly right. You are exactly right. That's a great point. I wanted to play a little bit more of this guy before I get out of here. I thought he was making some valid points.
And after I'm done cooking and cleaning and standing in line and getting stuck in traffic, my partner and I, we get together and we decide that we're going to go and have some wild and crazy fun. We're usually in bed before we find out who's eliminated on American Idol. We have to wake up and find out the next day who's still on because we're too freaking tired to hear who stays on. This is the super duper evil gay lifestyle. Run for your heterosexual lives, people.
So again, what he was promoting was that whether you're heterosexual, whether you're gay, that, you know, we all do the same things. We all care about the same things. And just because you are a gay couple, that doesn't mean that they push onto their children, you need to be gay. And I think that also is a misconception that we have, that gay people want to turn your kids gay. You know, and I think that being a heterosexual parent, I think we're under that misconception because that's the narrative. When people say, you know, they're pushing the gay agenda. Well, media is pushing the gay agenda, not necessarily the gay man or gay woman in front of you. So when you treat them as if automatically you proclamate that you're trying to turn my son or daughter gay because you're gay, you automatically promote violation. You automatically promote disrespect. Instead of having a conversation and letting them know, hey, this is my understanding and this is what I want for my children. And I'm sure whoever that person is or those persons are, you'll be able to come to a common ground. Like, this person loves their children. This person wants their children to make sure that they grow up in a healthy environment and make sure that their mindset is not altered. When you talk to those gay people, whoever those gay people may be, they may tell you, bruh, sis, I ain't trying to do anything that's going to violate your kids. Calm down. But we got to be able to have a conversation. We have to be able to sit down and say, hey, listen, what's the common ground? Ladies and gentlemen, this is tough love. This is a tough conversation. This is the things that other people would shy away from, but we run straight to it. Sit down. Let's break out some the china and let's have some tea and let's just have a conversation. Lawrence says most gay couples I knew were very discreet. In a conversation, it should be taught to accept self without having to fall into a certain categories or identify in a certain way to be accepted. Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, I know for a lot of you guys, you got to wake up early. I appreciate you being here. I'm kind of like a night owl right now, so I appreciate you guys for coming through. I'm hoping this conversation, of course, we didn't answer all the questions, but I'm hoping a few questions got asked and a few questions got provided answers, because it's a starting point. I'm sure there are other content creators out there that's kind of tiptoeing, kind of afraid to get there and have these conversations. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm an open book, and I'm really, I really want to promote togetherness. I really want to build people and empower people. And I don't care what your sexuality is, but as I respect you, I want you to respect me. Ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate you all. Please hit that like button, tag a few people, share this out, and let's get them to come and have a tough conversation. Good morning, good night, God bless. Peace, daughter.